What is happening there, Reject Nation? Greg and John here today. We are going to watch the second episode of What If. I believe this is the one with T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman's last appearance as Black Panther. Or actually, no, so it would just be T'Challa in this one, right?
Yeah.
It's What If scenario?
Star Panther.
Yeah. I'm really much looking forward to this. We are, of course, prepped your Loki shirt.
My variant.
My tight-fitting Black Panther shirt because Greg's put on a little bit of weight.
Muscle.
Sorry, I just got a Bane body now.
You can still be sexy with a Bane body.
Wakanda forever.
What if?
Guys, if you have enjoyed our reaction, subscribe and click that notification bell. Hit that like button. Full-length watch-alongs where you sync with the time coder over at our Patreon page. Cover a whole bunch of shows over there as well. At the same tier, you get an option for reaction highlights and watch-along included. Lastly, thank you to Pratham Jindal for editing down these highlights for us. Let's watch What If, Episode 2. What if?
Why if?
I think it's gonna be such a good one. Yeah, I can feel it.
Ooh.
Drop it! Drop it now! Identify yourself!
Who, me? I am just an ordinary junker.
Oh my... Star-Lord!
I was waiting for the who.
Hey, stop! Show some respect!
Nice.
This is great.
I almost wish I didn't have to take that from you.
Surely something this powerful is better off in my hands.
It's just that my boss, Ron. Should I not use the gun?
Go ahead.
Really?
Ready?
Oh, yes. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm right here. Hit me.
Oh, my lord. I didn't mean to.
Do it again, but this time faster. Harder.
Really?
I barely moved. Hit me.
Oh.
Classic Star-Lord.
I love how he's so revered.
Such a big fanboy for him.
That's so great.
These guys, on the other hand. Oh! What if Star-Lord was a real badass?
We have you outnumbered.
A Ravager never flies solo.
Nice one.
I said a Ravager never flies solo.
Yeah, Yondu.
Please tell me it's actually Michael Rooker.
Who's the Sleeping Beauty?
The beginning of his journey was much more down to earth.
I am tired of living in a bubble. There's an entire world out there, Baba.
Oh, interesting.
Though the blood of a king runs through your veins, it is pumped by the heart of an explorer.
A Ravager spacecraft was arriving on Earth to abduct the spawn of the celestial ego. But in this universe, Yondu outsourced the assignment to his subordinates.
Oh, interesting.
Really look like Peter Quill to y'all?
Sure, I don't know. All humans look alike to me.
What you doing out there all by yourself anyway?
Exploring the world.
We can show you all of them.
You're my new son.
Forget about ego.
I don't miss Wakanda at all. I said yes.
I haven't even been back.
I have to pick a favorite.
Really, I could not say.
I know.
I just love his hair.
How exactly did you stop Thanos, the Mad Titan, from decimating half of the universe?
What?
I'm big enough, man, to admit when I'm wrong. T'Challa here showed me there was more than one way to reallocate the universe's resources.
What?
Still assert my plan was not without its merits.
Great.
That sounds like
It's like how it should have ended.
yeah.
Money is no good here.
Hi.
Please.
No, seriously, we only take cash. Wait, you are the Star-Lord.
Is that?
It's not.
It's not his voice.
There was a whole thing about it.
We should take another one. You look terrible.
I'm sure it's fine.
No, there's a truly awful picture of you.
I don't know. He looks pretty good from where I'm standing.
Wow.
Nebula.
Nebula.
You ever think of going back?
Yondu attempted to return me to Wakanda, but it had been destroyed.
What?
They're called the Embers of Genesis. With 1 ounce, you can heal a dying planet in minutes.
So who's the mark?
Tanalir Tavon, also known as...
The Collector.
So long as the Collector's involved, we are not.
Yondu.
We steal from the rich and give to the poor. Just like that Earthling folk hero of yours, right? Robin Leach.
Robin who?
Robin Leach.
A museum that doubles as its base of operations. The mining colony.
Nowhere.
Yondu and I will pose as sellers looking to unload that orb you recovered on Morag. But really, it'll be T'Challa inside.
Our head of security, Proxima Midnight.
Wow.
That is when you caused the distraction.
Stop! I thought we were faking it!
Yeah, well, try calling me Captain Genocide again, new guy.
Captain Murder.
We have a situation. All units report to our position.
Now, Yondu and Nebula are free to distract the Collector so that I can search for the Embers.
Wow.
Amazing! No notes! A perfect plan!
No notes!
Oh, my dearest Nebula, aren't you a sight for sore? Forgive me, I couldn't help myself. Oh,
That Benicio.
I don't think sounds a little too clear.
Cosmo.
My guess, he's compensated.
Howard.
Quite articulate for a duck.
That, sir, is very close-minded.
You know I can find them.
Cosmic Flora down the hall. Take a Louis at the Frost Giants, a Hard Ralph at the Cronins. That total snooze.
Screw it.
Quack.
Give me the tour.
The Ravagers?
It's a diversion. Sound the alarms. Lock down the building.
She's more of a character here than she was in the movie.
Absolutely. Oh, they got the same actress for this, at least.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Why does he have it? The Collector destroyed Wakanda?
Or maybe, yeah. I mean, he dropped that fact about it being on a big old vibranium rock.
My son, T'Challa, Crown Prince of Wakanda, was abducted from Earth by an alien spacecraft.
Oh no. They were looking for him.
Oh, Cha-Cha. I had a debt with the Collector, and you were the payment.
Nebs.
I was protecting you.
Are we talking about the mission, or is this family stuff?
Told me my homeland had been destroyed. My family killed. How is that protecting me?
Whoa! Guess it's family stuff.
You don't belong down there with them. You belong up here with us, with your family.
You are not my family. You never were.
Oh.
Where I come from, history has never looked kindly on those who locked men in cages.
It appears he does have a superpower after all. He can bore someone to death using only his sanctimony. Dissect him and strip his remains for parts.
Let's go, Squidward.
You are the worst!
Ah!
Nebs.
But then again, there are two sides to any story.
This was always the plan. I told T'Challa that the Collector was after him right from the jump. You see, I have this debt with the Collector, and, well, he's come to collect.
And what does he want?
In a word, you, Cha-Cha.
Cha-Cha.
Hey, it was T'Challa's idea to keep you in the dark.
Because he knew I would never let him walk into a trap. Look where we ended up.
Necessary cover to obtain this.
Oh, snap.
Job well done.
What about T'Challa?
Not to worry, he's keeping his escape plan close to his chest.
not. Even you are foolish.
Yeah.
Do it. Oh. Oh.
Thank you. I am forever in your debt.
I am looking for Howard.
Now, there's plenty more we can play with.
Oh my God.
Uh-oh. Shield.
Shield.
Yeah. And Mjolnir.
Or perhaps you prefer something a touch more elegant. Oh, that woman. The Asgardian goddess of death.
Are you crazy? You'll never take them yourself.
Not crazy.
Mad.
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 Yeah.
It's weird to have that be a badass mafia. but I'm here for it.
Pretty mad. No way. We're gonna watch that fight? Oh,
yes.
hell yeah.
Yes.
Your new family has abandoned you, Karma.
Maybe you haven't had. A Ravager never flies solo.
Oh.
Ain't no way in hell I was gonna leave here without my kid.
Oh. Oh.
Damn, he getting messed up. Oh, damn.
Hey. Oh. Oh. Proxima, good night.
Eat this.
Oh no. He's gonna become a life-sustaining planet.
Oh, look at that father and daughter duo.
Let's go! Punch it!
Yeah. Any ideas?
Sticky fingers.
Could work. Who's the clue?
You are. Because you lied to me.
Fair point.
It's like that Thor Ragnarok scene.
Let's do get help.
That all you got?
Oh yeah.
Oh, how do you like it?
I trust you'll know what to do with this.
I have some ideas.
Oh damn.
No touching, Karina. No. No, no, no.
Oh.
Stop and think. I took care of all of you.
Wow.
I put a roof over your heads. Oh, Karma.
We're never getting out of here on foot.
And we'll take to the skies.
Nice.
Then I will see you at the rendezvous point.
Copy that, Cha-Cha.
Hey, here, Cosmo.
I just wanted to say,
There's no need. I was the one who told you I wanted to see the world. All you did was show me the universe. I've always felt at home up here. But now, knowing everything, I'm not quite sure where I belong.
on any planet, among any people, there ain't no place in this galaxy where you don't belong.
Aww.
Where you want to be, you're just gonna have to follow your heart on that one, Mr. Star-Lord.
I love how he sits in a meditative position.
Yeah. Truly the essence.
Interesting seeing Thanos here.
Yeah. under very different circumstances.
My friend, that sounds an awful lot like genocide.
No, because it's random.
How exactly my son came to be in your spaceship.
Funny story, Your Highness. You see, I took this job
I was lost, Baba. Yondu found me.
And from one family reunion to another.
Sorry, we're close.
My Peter, can't spare a little time for dear old Dad?
What?
But that's a story for another day.
Oh, God.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, no.
Oh, dang.
You really should have picked up Peter Quill.
Rest in peace.
Absolutely.
I am so glad that was a great episode.
I know, that was so much fun.
Oh, man. That was... I mean, I like talking about in the review of the last one, I said it like... While we were criticizing the last one. It's like, but I have a feeling that's just the case because it's an introduction episode. That they would really do something very different for the follow-up.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted from What If. This episode was exactly what I wanted this to be. Solid.
Absolutely.
Freaking solid.
Fucking A.
And like Chadwick Boseman killed it. Is like getting a completely different side of T'Challa in here.
Yeah, it's like quintessentially his voice, but yeah, like you get to see him take on this whole other energy,
this whole other personality. I loved it,
and I love the attention to detail of like because they picked him up instead. The family dynamic, the group dynamic, is a bit different. You know,
very different.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that was everything I wanted the What If concept to be, of pretty much taking a character and putting them down just a different path and then watching how it unfolds and not doing like a remake of something. I thought that was a proper introduction for the What If concept for people to really latch onto and understand it with Captain Carter. But this is exactly what I wanted it more to go down. It's like this one little, not one little thing, but a big thing of choosing to take this kid instead of Peter Quill. And then watching how that affects everything completely different, makes everything unfold differently.
Yeah.
Like the Ravagers are Robin Hoods now, you know, steal from the rich, give to the poor. And then even watching like, hey, he defeated Thanos and managed to change his mind. And Drax gets to live a good life right now, you know.
To go home to his wife and kid and brag about this, yeah.
It was a big ordeal. I don't know the ins and outs of it, so I don't know how dramatic it really was, but Dave Bautista was not. According to, I think what happened was Dave Bautista thought he wasn't asked. The creators said that they did send out something, so there might have been a miscommunication. I don't really know, but that wasn't Dave Bautista.
Bummer.
But either way, I thought the Drax scene was still really funny. Korath stole the show. The second they had the switch of like, because that's such a famous MCU moment. I'm Star-Lord. Who? It's such an iconic moment, and then right from there they completely change the dynamic, and he reveres him so much, and it's just idolize him. He wants to be
every
him.
Step of the way.
It's like, this is gonna be it. This is exactly what I was hoping it would be, and then you get to still keep Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa here, where he is, you know, he's still got the Wakanda accent, and he still feels like T'Challa. That's the cool part, is he still feels like T'Challa, just a much more fun, more loose, adventurous side to him. Not that T'Challa is like unrelatable, but he is this like royalty, responsible, stoic king.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. He has to be poised and regal.
Yeah, and this is a much more loose version, more relatable, and I love how he still has the positive influence over everything that's taking place, and he still wants to do good, that it's not just like, hey, the Star-Lord journey, and it even makes for a truly great father-son dynamic between Yondu and him, and I love that, because Yondu and Peter Quill are always at odds up until like the final moments of Guardians 2, and then here they're like best buds.
Yeah,
you know?
it's
I
like,
love it.
yeah,
It's so
Yondu
great.
really looks after him, and he's learned clearly a lot from his instincts and whatnot. And yeah, I loved that they managed to split the difference and give you both, especially for T'Challa, because I mean, like, this is a more accessible for like all audiences kind of show, and I feel like for him, that was one of the gripes about Black Panther. Is like, he does have to center everything with a certain regal energy, whereas here it's fun to have him be very much in that character and within the realms of that character, but loose and having fun with it. And across the board, I think that's one of the more fun aspects to me about this, is getting to hear like Djimon Hounsou seems like he put everything into doing this voice performance. Yeah,
this is a way more exciting return than, because he was going to be he's in Captain Marvel, and I remember being like, oh cool, Djimon Hounsou, Captain Marvel, yay. It doesn't do anything, and he's barely in Guardians 1. And Djimon Hounsou is in, like, him and David Dastmalchian are two actors who are like in so many comic book properties that we don't even realize just how many comic book properties are in. And then but Djimon Hounsou, who's usually a very serious type of actor, to get this side of him, and like, to me, to get this version of Korath is so great. It is so, like, it's so funny. At times he was stealing the show for me.
No, absolutely. Like, it's funny because we were talking in the previous episode about how, partly with the pace and also, again, the sort of more encompassing shift in audience to, include kids more. I feel like in the first episode you could look at it and go, okay, some of the humor seems like it's really playing that direction. It's, it's kind of obvious for kids, and here I thought they got much richer character comedy out of stuff like that, where it's like the whole bit with Korath could have been annoying, and yet it just kept endearing me more and more and more. And I even across the other characters too, like I love the recurring bit with Thanos about people are like, you sound like a genocidal guy. Like, no, but here's how you do it. Like, and seeing the stakes flipped around, and hearing Josh Brolin even getting within the bounds of that character still kind of get loose and have fun with the dynamics and stuff. I think there is something about doing a story that jumps off from a very familiar place but then doesn't rely on the plot points hardly at all that really brings this episode especially together, because you can make all that room to have these little offshoot character moments, some of which are just like, oh, here's a joke to keep the scene feeling light, and then some of which are actually no, here's just what this character would be dealing with in a different set of circumstances.
But overall, I thought that every moment was still essential. Even if it's like a funny moment like with Drax, it still shows the influence that what T'Challa and the Ravagers have done, how they're like actually heroes here. And on a personal level, it's kind of crazy how Chadwick Boseman, who passed away, and now Black Panther the character, from if all reports are to be believed, is not, Black Panther the character is not going to be in like T'Challa won't be in Black Panther 2. They're not doing a recasting. I know that's true. I just don't know if it's going to be official that his character is dead. But then, Yondu, who's also dead. Like these two characters get a chance to have one last rodeo together. Of characters who have passed on now, and it is so refreshing with Chadwick Boseman just to get that. I was so pleased with it. I love this version of him. I really did love this version, and it's crazy to see, like, man, even in like a voiceover work, you still have this like screen presence. It's so
captivating.
It's strange,
And that's the thing, is that's what's wonderful too. Is it's still, that regal quality is still there, because I think it's just part of Chadwick Boseman. But having him be the more sort of roguish type is just so much fun. And it's weird because I think in part you could sit here and go, man, I wish I had seen this in live action. But weirdly, it felt so alive here still, and I felt like I was still watching, not just listening to, but really just watching T'Challa.
A real performance. This felt like top tier, like, I mean this in a good way, guys. Like a solid Disney animated movie. I don't mean that in I feel like there's a really easy way to make that sound insulting, just because Disney, the word of that, but Disney has made some of the best animated movies of all time, and to me this felt like a really great Disney animated movie.
And well paced for what it's trying to do.
There's only a couple nitpick moments of breadth of things that kind of happen so suddenly. but it's nowhere near the degree of what we were feeling for the last episode.
This got me more optimistic. Not that I was pessimistic, but I was like, okay, the last episode, had that hurdle of cramming a 2-hour-plus movie and beats and all into 30 minutes. Where, this felt like it breathed better. There were still moments where I was like, wish it could breathe just a little more.
Literally, I'm not saying like 20 minutes. I'm saying like 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'll take 35 solid minutes.
I think like a couple of more minutes would have just helped a few moments breathe. But they're like tiny little details. Mm-hmm. But versus the other one, and I don't want to just do a comparison. I'm just saying, I'm using this to say this is why this what if scenario works so well, is because taking a completely different plot allows you to tell a short story versus feeling like you're doing a condensed movie. And doing a short story here, you get you get like actual tension in certain moments, like when he goes into the ship and when his necklace starts lighting up and you see it's a Wakanda ship and you don't know about the Collector, like, to me that's like an oh shit moment of oh damn, what's happening. I'm curious. I'm like pulled into what the plot development is going to be and to the character journey of this version of T'Challa. I'm sincerely pulled in to the emotional journey of this kid who wants to be an explorer. So you get this sense of wonder, and then having to return home, and then you get this complete dovetail here of both of his families coming together in the end. And it was great. It was literally a great episode because it told its own story and wasn't reliant, other than like, pulling from other things and having some fun with it. Like I thought having like the Black Order in here was pretty cool. Some of them got to have more personality than they did in Infinity War. And because you had like Corvus Glaive, Ebony Maw, Proxima Midnight, and then what is that other freaking guys? I constantly
Black Dwarf.
Black Dwarf, is that what it is?
Called the Black Guard, right? I get confused.
Because there's another character, Giant, who wasn't in the movie. Super Giant, it's not in the movie, so we're trying to commit that to memory here.
Yeah, and I'm like, did they appear in the background somewhere here or whatever, or in one of the, different gallery shots? Because the other thing is I'm really, there are going to be so many breakdowns of all the things in the backgrounds in all of those collection cases.
Then this, to me, was another case of how I thought they managed to utilize characters who aren't really used and elevate them. Maybe depending on the scenario, like the Collector, it was cool to see, like, look at all those collections. Look at the Kingpin version of the Collector, the real like galaxy like crime lord that he is.
Who seems like a threat, not just eccentric.
Like it was fun when you're watching him pull, the Malekith dagger. I think there's a Malekith dagger, right? Did he say?
He said like an Agent Elvin.
Yeah, it might have been. It was probably Malekith, and then. Hela, obviously. Then I'm like, there's plenty of Easter eggs later in here that totally flew over my head. But it's gonna be fun to watch a new Rockstars video to see everything that's pointed out here. But dealing with the Collector and getting a chance to have it feel more inhabited. There was something about, like, I like Benicio del Toro as the Collector, and I like the appearances that they've had, but for some reason I feel like this one might stick with me longer as a more like clear, definitive version of that. Like this is more defined.
I mean, he's not, even though he's an important character, he in this feels less, because he gets to take up so much more of the episode, and because it is very clearly,
and he's the villain.
The conflict is directly, at least as of the operation between them, whereas in Guardians it's more of an interlude of the movie itself. And I mean, I think there's something, it's funny that it's not Benicio del Toro here, because when he's on screen, I think part of it is like I'm just kind of engrossed by like, this dude always comes up with like eccentric, interesting characters, and here, and it's not even that I would gripe at the live action movies and say I'm distracted by his presence, but there's a different experience in watching it, where here I was just like, this is just the Collector. I'm not even really thinking about that beyond the initial moments of trying to identify his voice.
That's a fair thing. Getting Nebula and Thanos having a little moment there where it's kind of like watching Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt.
It really is. Well, Nebula too. Like I thought she was a nice little central character, and in an interesting mood, like in a fun sort of like confident swagger that's nice to see in contrast from the movies where she's just so dark.
And having that Karina girl, she's the one who grabs the Power Stone and Guardians of the Galaxy, and she's like, no, I'll no longer be the slave, or some dialogue like that.
I'm not part of your collector.
But getting a chance to do to come back here, pretty much go down the same path.
Yeah.
But coming out all right this time.
Absolutely. Only to then give us a stinger that seems like it's going to be pretty sinister for this time.
But it's insane because it's such like a great heartfelt episode, and you get this like really warm, tender ending here, where T'Challa is truly not resentful towards Yondu in any capacity, and and doesn't even want to give a full explanation to his dad. He's just like, he said something like, "He saved me," or something like that.
Oh yeah. He found me.
He found me.
Lost and he found me.
Exactly, that's the one. Yeah.
And that's
then to have the stinger over Peter Quill, he got to live on Earth and stay on Earth, work at the Dairy Queen, and then his dad shows up like, "Oh great, over the end of the world."
Oh, should we have picked him? We really should have picked him up, I guess. It's like, what was the cost? I think that's the funny thing.
Don't make fans wish that it played out this way.
Yeah.
Let them know why it's good it didn't play out this way.
And that's the thing, though, is and that's part of the periphery magic of this concept in general. Is like, yeah, we got this swashbuckling adventure that's very feel good, but also the cost of these little differences could be this one big cataclysmic difference.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I really love that.
Yeah.
And
well, and two, I mean, I even got caught up in the whole thing about like Wakanda's been destroyed. Oh wait, it's not been destroyed. And I feel like that motivates that ending button of like, I mean, what does T'Challa have to be really that pissed about when actually he's got two families?
Yeah.
You know?
It's a very good point. Because, when they say Wakanda's destroyed, I was like, damn, that's devastating. And then I really felt for him in that moment of... because this whole... one thing that was a little bit odd to me was it did seem like little boy... this is why I mean like a couple more minutes will help some of these beats breathe a little better. Because he's... like T'Challa seemed like he just could, as a kid, just couldn't give a shit about leaving home. I'm like, I feel like a kid would still like kind of care, maybe be a little conflicted in the moment.
This is immediate
because it went by so quick, that moment.
Yeah.
Of like, that's the wrong kid. Yeah, you don't seem too weirded out. How would you like to see it all? All right, let's go.
Let's go for years and years and never return.
And like I think letting a moment linger a little more of, what do you want to do, kid? Do you want to come back? Do you want to come with us? Like giving him the option, just letting a moment be there where he has to make a choice.
Yeah.
Probably would have helped complement that moment in the ship better when he's there and he's like, oh, I made this choice and my family's been worried and looking for me this whole time. Because I really did feel all of that, what I just said. Like, my family's been worried and looking for me this whole time. I just think it would have been that much more powerful or hit a lot harder if we did have that moment breathe a little longer where little boy T'Challa, and people might argue with me, I could already hear the comments, people might argue with me that T'Challa didn't have a choice, that Yondu was going to take him, but I didn't think it played that way. It wasn't like a Peter Quill kidnapping thing. They obviously got the wrong kid. And I feel like Yondu was kind of leaving it up in his hands, the little boy's hands. I think he was just like, this little kid doesn't seem weirded out, maybe he wants to come. But I think Yondu would have given him a choice.
Well, it does make you wonder, is this universe's Yondu just a pretty different guy, or is it just that T'Challa rubbed off on him after so much time?
A little bit of both.
Yeah,
a little bit of both.
And I think it is that it's like when he goes out and he's you could tell, he wants to explore, he wants adventure.
Yeah.
It's not such that it's like it's not the kind of thing where he leaves his father's chambers in some kind of anguished way where it's like, oh, there's been a wedge and I need to leave. It's more just sort of like, oh, he happened to discover a way outside and then, oh shit, I get picked up by this ship. So it does feel a little bit like, okay, I guess I'll just go with you at first. But what I appreciated is that I think we even wondered it out loud during the reaction, and then soon after the episode came back to that fact of like, your home, Wakanda was destroyed.
Oh, no. They addressed it really quick.
Yeah. So at least, I always appreciate, I guess, when I have a gripe arise and then the show takes care of it in the text. Like even moments later.
Yeah, essentially doing it. Mm-hmm. And it was also because one of my thing back to the Black Order of, aren't they known as like the children of Thanos or something like that? I think that's one of their names, the children of Thanos. And then to watch like them fight Thanos the gardener.
Yeah, Farmer Thanos. Providing the galaxy with organic produce.
So funny. Oh, that is hilarious.
It's random. It's fair because it's random.
It is like a villain pub moment.
It really, it really is. And I would not be at all surprised if, not that it is in any way sort of overt, but I wouldn't be surprised if they are putting some, covert love, some latent love to the villain pub in there, because they have to have seen those.
Yeah, and I like the visuals a lot. I thought they looked great, look absolutely beautiful. Like getting just the cosmic side of it all. I will say that if considering I got to give at least one little lead up to the first episode, is I thought the action different in the first episode, more appealing. I thought the way they did some unique camera things with the action in the first one, and here I loved everything here, and I liked the action. I wasn't in love with it, whereas like the last episode, I was like, my main takeaway was how cool the action is. Yeah,
the last one put me in a place where I felt like I was watching an actual choreographed live fight scene, and yet still, it's like there's something about animation where you're like, well, they can do anything.
Yeah,
So this one, I think too, it's setting it in a more futuristic realm, setting it in space. I think there's something about that too that just kind of acclimates you in a different way to action like that, where it's going to be more fantastical, and that kind of changes the amount of like visceral punch it has.
Yeah, some of it had a little bit more like the brutal aspects to it, and not as like hyper choreographed and martial arts heavy.
Yeah.
Other than some like T'Challa maneuvers, but like watching Thanos and go up against the Black Order, or even like when they're fighting the Collector, like that was a cool moment when Yondu and T'Challa are fighting him side by side. Have a little Thor Ragnarok moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Howard the Duck too. That was a good little moment.
Yeah, hey, and even that, like, because that's a joke and it's a callback too, but also they made something out of that. Even though Howard is mostly a joke character, it's like that little passage gets us to the next part of the story. It's not just a detour to make a reference. And I'm sure we'll see Howard again.
I thought they made full use of this. This is good. This is great. This is awesome. This made me super happy. I was pretty much smiling from beginning to end. Like I had to stop smiling at one point because my cheeks started hurting.
Yeah. Well, and even more so than the previous episode, like just the artwork, the way it looks like comic book splash pages, or even sci-fi concept art. Like even more in this episode, I was feeling those vibes.
Well, it is interesting because it's a similar type of animation to the first episode, obviously, yet because of the color palette and the settings, it doesn't feel exactly the same.
And they made like I think they do make, like, between this one and the first one, I feel like they do make some like period appropriate for the Peggy Carter episode, like camera and lensing choices via the animation. And so here I feel like they're capturing it in a more futuristic cinematography scale.
Well, they also really know how to honor the world from the main movies they're riffing off of. Too. I thought they do a great job at that. I thought this is refreshingly awesome. This is refreshingly awesome. I'm really happy that it's always it might not be live action, but it is cool to get a voiceover performance from the late Chadwick Boseman in a way that lets you still feel how alive he is, even if it's through voice work. Like you could feel him in the booth, really interact. You could like get that sense. Yet I'm not getting pulled out thinking of the actor in the booth.
Like it really and I think that's part of the overall magic of having not everybody, but so many of the cast return for these, is they do kind of transcend feeling in certain ways, or at least this episode especially did. Transcends feeling like just a fun tacked on thing, and feels like an actual journey that we're lucky to see with all these people assembled.
I think sometimes the profile shots of when characters are talking, the animation on the mouth is not very good on profile shots, where it's just like they're having a mouth kind of move up and down, but it's not really matching.
Like that's hard.
It is hard.
And in this show I was noticing too, I was like, when they're facing like
Yondu especially,
like if they're looking more toward the camera, it's actually pretty all right. But some of those profiles could be a bit better.
But overall, Amazing. I'll give it like an 8.5 out of 10.
Give it a 10.5 out of 5. I have one Easter egg question to verify just because I want it on the record.
What's up?
In Guardians of the Galaxy, his eyes are blue, right?
Whose?
Star-Lord, when he first opens, the eyes on his helmet are blue, right? I feel like they are.
No, they're not.
They're not? They're purple? Because at the beginning of the episode...
I think you're wrong about that.
Oh, I could be.
Star-Lord helmet, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm remembering this as red.
Are they red? Okay, but they're not. They're not purple though.
No.
Okay, good. As long as that, because even at the beginning,
right here, they're red.
T'Challa's eyes are purple.
Yeah.
And like I love that too. Is like carrying some of that Wakanda, heritage, even in just a little detail like that. So when somebody points out that Easter egg, I noticed it.
Awesome. Good to hear. All right, guys. So what did you think about this episode? Did you enjoy it as much as us? Screw it. I'll say 9 out of 10. 9.9 out of 10.
Go beyond 10, man. What if?
Leave your thoughts down below. Subscribe. Click that notification bell. Hit that like button. Also, we're on Patreon and... Mikhail Linden. Mikhail, I wanted to shout you out because Chadwick Boseman, final performance in MCU, did wonders for being the first black Marvel or MCU superhero.
Respect for Blade.
And you are the whitest guy at our Patreon page. And I just thought it would be totally humorous if the whitest guy I know shouted out the whitest guy at our Patreon page for the Chadwick Boseman episode.
Mikhail, what's up, my white friend? Us white people got to stick together in 2021, my friend. We got to keep our heritage alive and appreciated by all the people around. We got to make sure that it's in the forefront of everyone's mind, Mikhail. And I appreciate that you and I can do that just by showing up in a room and having a face and having the lights be on. So, hey, man, keep on your whiteness. You're doing a great job. Listen,
doing
man,
great white.
You live in Europe, and so like that's the birthplace of all white people. Did you know that? Dude, what if you weren't born there? You might be a totally different race of person, Mikhail. Don't let that happen. I don't want to know what that reality's like. I can't handle things outside of my whiteness.
This turned out better than I
This is
hoped.
what everyone wanted today. Stay fragile, Mikhail.